Hey everyone, Supercy here. So today we're going to talk about a new EQ. And I know it doesn't sound very exciting, but believe me, in this case it is. So Eventide has released SplitEQ. Now SplitEQ is an EQ with a very interesting twist. Some might even go so far as to say that it's revolutionary, it's groundbreaking. Well, is it really revolutionary? Let's find out. Now, by the way, at the moment, SplitEQ is on sale for about 40% off or 44% off, something like that. So very interesting. I will leave a link in the description of the video, which will take you to Plugin Boutique. It is going to be an affiliate link, which means that should you use that link, wouldn't cost you a cent more, but I would get a little commission, which of course would help support this channel. Now, once you've downloaded and installed everything, this is what it looks like. And I have to say, this thing looks amazing. I think this is one of the best looking plugins, period. And I know that to many of you that might not be the most important aspect of it, but I think it's still worth mentioning that clearly they put a lot of effort into aesthetics, and I really like how it looks. Now, it doesn't just look great, it also sounds great. So again, in my opinion, sound quality spot on. So all in all, this thing is really well crafted. So well done, Eventide. But now, what is SplitEQ? What is it? Well, at its core, SplitEQ obviously is an EQ. So we have different frequency bands, we can boost frequencies, we can cut frequencies, just like any regular EQ, right? But now, what's the fuss all about? So what makes this so special? Well, the huge selling point, the magic of SplitEQ, as the name suggests, is that SplitEQ can split the audio signal, and it splits it in transient parts and in tonal parts. Now, that information alone should be enough to trigger about 1 million new ideas in your head about all the implications that has. It's huge. Okay, now as an example, here I have a little song. I'm gonna play it for you. By the way, I recommend listening to it on some good monitor speakers or some good headphones to get the full experience, of course. Anyway, let's play this song to see what we're working with. I think you get the idea. Anyway, as I mentioned, SplitEQ can split the signal into transient parts and tonal parts. Now, as most of you probably know, transient is just the initial hits, just the initial part of a sound. The tonal part is basically all the lingering after that. Probably could have explained that a bit better, but I hope you know what I mean. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this song again, then I'm gonna solo only the transient parts, and then I'm gonna solo only the tonal parts. So it should become a bit clearer probably. Let's go. Well, I think that was pretty obvious, wasn't it? Okay, now let's say that I thought that the snare was hitting a little bit too hard. And I actually kind of feel that way. So what can we do about that? Well, one thing we could try is to take one of the frequency bands, let's take this one, just bring it down a little bit to, let's say, minus 6 dB. And let's go for 4.5K. Of course, I did a little bit of preparation before this video, so I know a little bit what frequencies to go for. Let's bring up the Q a little bit like this. And okay, I'm going to bypass the plugin. I'm gonna play this song again, and we're gonna switch it on and off to see what the differences are. Let's go. Well, it kinda did the trick, but the problem is that it also did a lot more than that. So yes, it now seems like the snare drum is not hitting as hard anymore. The problem is that now it also seems like we have a kind of hole in our mix, because we've brought down literally everything around 4.5K, and that's not what we want. We only want to bring down, we only want to affect that initial hit around 4.5K, which is being dominated by that snare drum hit. So luckily we have SplitEQ. So what we can do now, let's first bring back the node to 0. So if I hover over this node, you can see also a blue and a green dot appearing. The blue dot represents the tonal, the green dot represents the transient information. What we want to do is to bring down only the transient information. So let's do that. Let's pick this green circle and just bring it down to about -6 dB. Okay, somewhere around here. And again, what I'm going to do, let me bring up the cue again a little bit. Okay, again, what I'm going to do is play this song again, and I'm going to unbypass the plugin so you can hear the difference. Let's go. Okay, now I'm not sure if you can clearly hear it in the video, but I can hear a huge difference. It's amazing. Okay, now let's do one more. So somewhere in this mix there is a guitar, a rhythm guitar, and let's say that for some reason we want that to be a little bit more prominent, but we want it to be not so much in your face. We actually want it to be less in your face. Okay, well, I've prepared something here. So what I've done is around 2.2K, which is the frequency that I think that this guitar resides in, kind of. I've boosted the tonal information by 3 dB. The Q setting is 3.5, and I've cut the transient information by 2.5 dB, and the Q setting is 3. Okay, well, what I will do now again is I will bypass, well, only this band for now. I will play this song again, and while it's playing, I will activate this band, and we can hear the difference. Let's go. Now, again, not sure if it really translates well over the video, but from where I'm sitting, that again is awesome. Now, the good stuff doesn't quite stop there, because if we go down here to where it says pan, we are now on EQ, but let's go to pan. Now you can see that we have access to some panning settings for each of the bands individually. So for example, for this band we can pan the transient information to the left and the tonal information to the right, for example. But the point is that we can do that separately. Now, if we click this button, then here you can see that we also have access to some mid-side settings, and again we can do it separately for the transient parts and the tonal parts. So those are some really nice additions to this plugin. Okay, and then the last thing I'll mention today about the interface of SplitEQ, and that is this. So we kind of do have a say in how SplitEQ actually splits the audio signal. So first of all, let's go down to this drop-down menu, let's open it, and here you can see quite a list of predefined options to choose from. Now, at the moment, full mix is selected, which kind of makes sense because we have been editing a full mix, okay? Now, if you were to have split EQ on, for example, a kick drum track, or maybe a snare drum track, or maybe a track with a full drum set, or a bass, or a guitar, well, you might want to pick the most appropriate option here, and then split EQ will actually adjust the algorithm so that it optimizes for that particular instrument, and that algorithm ultimately determines how split EQ actually splits the audio signal. Okay, and then just to the right of that you can see some additional parameters we can mess with to tell split EQ how to split the signal. So we do have some options there. Okay, so in conclusion, so what do I think of split EQ? Okay, now let me just come out and say it. I am genuinely impressed. I'm really impressed by split EQ. Is it revolutionary? I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen it before, or at least not in an EQ, I think. I do think that theoretically it might be possible to get similar results using other plugins, but I do think that you would need a lot of them. So you would need some signal splitters, you would need a lot of EQs, traditional EQs, you would need quite a bit of transient shapers, you would need some panning options, some mid-side capability. So that would be quite a complex endeavor. That would not be ideal. So to have all of that now packed into one plugin, that is really awesome. Now the funny thing is that the basic idea behind this plugin, so the splitting of the audio signal, seems like a very simple idea. I mean, it's not a new idea. I mean, we do have transient shapers, for example, so it's not a new idea, but implementing that into an EQ, I think I need to correct myself. I actually do think it's revolutionary. And again, it might seem like a very simple idea, but the implications it has are enormous. And it's not just a good idea, they actually also made it into an amazing plugin. So as I mentioned, it looks amazing, it sounds great, the interface is very user-friendly, very intuitive, it's feature-packed, and you know, it's very useful. I mean, it's not just a good idea for show, it is actually very usable. You know, so all in all, again, I'm just very impressed by this plugin. I might even go so far as to say that this might well be one of the best plugins I've seen all year so far. So that is SplitEQ by Eventide. Okay, so that's it for now. Go check out SplitEQ for yourself and let me know what you think about it. Leave a comment below. For now, thanks for watching and I will talk to you next time.